Why hello everybody, today we're gonna talk about something very different from my usual content. This is not a review, it is not anything like that. In fact, it technically has absolutely nothing to do with My Hero Academia whatsoever. What I want to talk about today is Jump Force, because we're having Jump Festa coming around this weekend, and so I wanted to kinda, just for the fun of it, just predict what characters we may be seeing as new reveals during the Bandai Namco panel. Now, as we know, Deku was just announced today, and we had Renji, Trunks, and Boa Hancock being announced, very recently as well, so I'm not really going to talk about those. However, the characters that I will be predicting today are certainly characters I've heard are quite requested. These are not necessarily my preferences. In fact, I'm gonna be trying to talk about characters that I think are highly demanded, and so I think purely on that basis they may be getting into the game, at least during a big event like Jump Festa, who is of course one of the biggest sort of events in Japan when it comes to these kind of things. So let's get right into it, okay? The first character is Kakashi Sensei from Naruto. A lot of people want Kakashi in the game. I definitely cannot see why, because he's such a big and significant character in the story of Naruto, and so far Naruto only has 2 reps in the game. We only have Naruto and Sasuke, so it only makes sense to have 2 or 3 more characters from Naruto being implemented into the game, and Naruto being one of the big 3. It only makes sense that I would have more than 2 reps. I think it's just a matter of time before we see exactly who is being added into the game. It could be Sakura as well, but you never know. So yeah, that's why I'm sort of betting on Kakashi. And speaking of Naruto, my second pick happens to be another pick from Naruto. However, this one not so friendly. He is the biggest and baddest villain in Naruto, at least according to the fan base. He's not really the final villain, but he certainly is the biggest and baddest of them all, and that is Madara. Now, I know a lot of people want Madara in the game, and who can blame them, because Madara is such a significant villain. He's been built up for such a long time throughout the story, and even though the final arc had its ups and downs, Madara as a character was never really a disappointment, and I think a lot of people just want Madara in the game purely based on the fact that he's such a popular character and such a badass. Okay, now that I've been talking about the Naruto series, let's move on to the next franchise of characters that I would like to predict will be implemented, or revealed rather, into Jump Force during the Jump Festa event. The next franchise that I want to talk about is Jojo's Bizarre Adventure, because that is something that I see constantly on Twitter and on other social media when it comes down to Jump Force. Where are our JoJo's characters? And I think it's about time we got some of them, because JoJo's is another huge series within Jump. It has been around for a very long time, and in J-Stars, you had Jonathan and you had Joseph Joestar, so it only makes sense that you'd have some of the reps in Jump Force as well, right? It's just, it hasn't really happened yet, but a lot of people are suspecting that they are coming, and I think they are. Now, the characters I predict from JoJo's are Jotaro and Dio. Now, I'll let you in on a little surprise, guys. I've never watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, or actually that's a lie. I've watched 3 episodes of the first season, but beyond that I haven't really seen anything, so I don't really know anything about Jotaro and Dio. I know extremely little about. I only know, whatever the 3 first episodes reveal about him, really. That's all I know. Kinda know the power system that happens around, because, my friends talk about it all the time, but I don't really know any extensive details. And so I will not really talk extensively about these characters because I know so little about them. But I think, as I said before, just having 2 JoJo's reps would be something that would really reward Jump Force's reputation as a game, I think, especially since J-Stars, which was a previous game, as far as I know, it had JoJo's reps in it, so why wouldn't Jump Force as well, right? And I have heard that Jotaro and Dio are the most requested and the most popular JoJo's characters from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, so it only makes sense to pick these 2, in my opinion, if they are in fact the most requested and popular characters on the block, because that's going to satisfy the most amount of people. Now, the last prediction that I'm gonna make is from a series that is very new. It is what we call the new generation, you know, the same generation as My Hero Academia and the same generation as Black Clover, and that series is Kimetsu no Yaiba. A lot of people don't know about this series, but those who do may or may not read it. You know, some people do, some people don't. I do read it and I like it a lot. The character that I want to talk about is Tanjiro Kamado, which is the main character from Kimetsu no Yaiba, and I would like to have him in Jump Force because of the fact that he is someone that fits perfectly into a game like Jump Force, which is a fighter game, you know, especially since we don't really have that many sword fighters, you know what I mean? A lot of people are punchers or whatever. So to have someone who is a bit more weaponized would be quite something, you know, for a better balance, I guess you could say. But that said, he's not just a ripoff of someone like Zoro. It's not just a sword fighter and that's it, you know, he has his own gimmicks. And I think that is something that Jump Force could really benefit from, honestly, even though he's so new and a lot of people may not really know this character. But the anime is coming out in 2019, so I mean, it's kind of fitting in that sense as well that we would get someone like Tanjiro into the game. So yeah, that's really why I personally want Tanjiro in the game, and I definitely think he has the chance of getting into the game because in Japan, Kimetsu no Yaiba is a lot more popular than it is in the West. And you know, this game definitely isn't restricted to the West. So you know, we kind of have to give some to the Western audience and some to the Japanese audience. Anyway, that has been my predictions for what Jump Force characters I hope we get to see revealed during the Jump Festa event, which is coming up this weekend, the 22nd to 23rd of December. I would love to know what characters you expect to be revealed during the Jump Festa event, if you actually expect any reveals at all. I mean, some people may have the idea that we're not gonna get any characters revealed, but me personally, I'm clinging on to the idea that we are getting some characters at least. I don't really expect all 5 of these to be confirmed, although if they were, I would probably not be dissatisfied.